So, I don't even know where to start on this one, but, hey, if you're like me, anytime you see 505 games, you know it can't be too bad, right? So, Open Country. What is it? Where do we start? Well, if you're like me, you like survival games. You probably stumbled upon this one in the PlayStation Store. If you're like me, it was on sale and you thought, hey, 11 bucks, can't go wrong. That's where I'm at as far as I picked it up for literally, I think, $11.99 with the PlayStation Plus deal that was going on currently. I don't know what the full price of the game is, but I'm assuming it's like 20 bucks. As far as whether it's worth that or not, I'm not sure yet. This is an initial hands-on review, and my initial thoughts on this game when I first saw anything about it was, oh, cool. It's basically DayZ without the zombies or the PvP. Like, kind of my favorite part of survival, those kind of survival games, open world, is the hunting and surviving. Hence, you know, open world survival. I thought that's what I was going to get here. It's less of an open world and more of a sections on a map. And the survival aspects are a lot more like manageable and dumbed down. For example, you have a hatchet, which you need for crafting certain things, because the crafting is sort of like a formula more than it is actually just doing things. So you have a hatchet, but you can't just go up to any of these trees you see and cut them down. No, no, no. You have to find branches and logs and your resources on the ground. So far, that might change. I am still in what seems to be a really long tutorial mode of the story. It basically, if you play single player, plops you into a story, which I'm not going to get into because it's not really deep or anything, but, you know, I don't want to spoil it if you are into that sort of thing. However, you basically are out in the wild. I thought it was going to be like an open world out in the wild. It's more of a, I'm on vacation out in the wild, and you're doing sort of like little missions for the locals in the wild in the area. You know how there's like mountain resorts and things like that. Well, that's the case here. So far, I've helped the owner of a tavern and the park ranger and another like local, and in doing so, it's been basically teaching me how to play the game. So I'm assuming it's just a really long tutorial. The information from the publisher of the studio seems to imply that it's pretty in-depth as far as like the story goes and whatnot. But I'm here for, you know, the hunting and camping basically, and let's talk about that. It's pretty like dumbed down, pre-built. You gather the resources you need and you look at your, you know, bushcrafting and see what you can make, see what you need. There's a few like dumb things that I don't like the before mentioned not being able to just cut down trees. That's kind of weird for a survival game. You have to pick up your resources and then you just go to the menu, and if you have what you need to make it, then you hit the button and it makes it, and then you can use it. There's a shelter, which at this point I've pretty much upgraded once all the way. It seems like you can build the shelters pretty much wherever you want to set up a camp, and that's kind of cool, but it's not like DayZ or Rust or any of the Minecraft, you know, anything like that where you can like really get in depth build. It's more pre-built. The hunting is where the game kind of shines. It's not as in-depth as I would like it to be. Again, everything in this game is very dumbed down. And I'm coming from, like, I'm comparing it to, say, DayZ. Because most people will play DayZ as a PvP survival game, which is fine. I mean, that's where it gets most of its, like, money from. But hidden inside of DayZ is, like, the best survival game, wilderness survival game you'll ever play. Like, all the elements for that, if you take out the zombies and the PvP, it's the best survival game. So I typically compare my ability to play a survival game versus how it is in DayZ. And then with it being specifically a survival game, like, it should be able to do all the things and then more. This game does not do that. The multiplayer appears to be just placing you and your friends on sections of the map where you're given like an overall task, such as hunt down, you know, this many animals or this group of animals. And once you've done that, you're done. What you do until you finish that is, I guess, up to you guys. You know, you can mess around, you can build camps, you can explore, I guess. There's all those things. But really, there's no open world feeling to it. It's all very, like, handheld and very linear. Now, you know, coming from 505 and looking at games like 7 Days to Die and Terraria and Minecraft and games where you like really get to dive into even games like Portal Knight, where, you know, it's not as open as a Minecraft is, but there's still a lot more to do and a lot more customization and building you can do. This does not have that. This is very, like I said, dumbed down and handheld. Now, all that aside, the real question is, like, is it worth the money? Is it fun? Blah, blah, blah. It is fun. There's a lot of fun to be had if you like playing games by yourself, if you like the hunting and doing that kind of stuff, but you don't want to, like, dive into a really in-depth game, or you don't have a lot of time. This is perfect. It's very, like, pick up and put down unless you want to get into it. It has autosave that works really sporadically. Seems like when it begins a mission, it'll autosave, but everything else has to be manually saved, and that is done at your RV or at the places like campsites or places where you sleep. You can usually save. Now, the biggest problem I've had with this game is it has random blue screens, which a lot of games do, and a lot of 505 games tend to do that anyway. I know with 7 Days to Die, Portal Knights, and Minecraft, I have had, even Terraria, like, I've had a lot of crashes in those games. It happens. With this game, it sucks because I've had it happen, and I've had to, like, do a whole bunch of progress over again because you can't save unless you're at one of your spots, and if it blue screens before you get to a spot where you can save, well, you're going to lose anything you did before then. I've also had it because since then I save as often as I can. Like, before I do anything, after I do anything, I save as often as I can. And I've had it blue screen and then also lose 3 or 4 manual saves that I made. And I basically had to restart, you know, a large section of the game that I had done. So that sucks. It's a new game. I'm sure they'll patch stuff. Whatever. We'll see in a little while if that is the case. But otherwise, take out the blue screens. Take out my desire for having an ultra-realistic experience, and you've got yourself a pretty decent game. That the gunplay is fine. Like I said, the crafting and upgrading and all that, like, it is fun. It's just not super in depth. And if you're into something more in depth, then you're gonna want to go somewhere else. And if you're not, then this is a great game. Like I said, I picked it up for sale on PlayStation. It was like a double discount, I think, and it was a PlayStation Plus discount as well, so that made a difference. But it was $11.99, I believe, and for that, it's definitely worth it. Like I said, it has online multiplayer up to 4 people. It is co-op, and it's basically like co-op hunting. Nothing too in-depth, and again, it's not like open world. However, it is fun, it is cheap. If you're into hunting, fishing, that sort of thing, it does have all of it. It has a lot of exploring the wilderness type stuff. There's just nothing in depth for anybody looking for like a simulator. This is not that. This is definitely the arcade version of that. That said, I still like it. I'm going to put more time into it, as much as it'll allow with the whole blue screen thing. I might get frustrated and quit at some point. I don't know. However, at this point, pretty fun game. I'm going to try to finish it out and see what happens. Put some more time into the multiplayer, see if there's something there. If not, then you should check out 7 Days to Die, because that's so far a more in-depth, better version of something like this. If you like that sort of thing. Also, like I said, DayZ is a great simulator if you can avoid the toxic players or the PvP elements, which is very possible. Then you can have a really good time learning how to hunt and actually tracking animals in that game. Otherwise, open country, new game, cheap game, not bad. Give it a number. I'll give it like a 6 out of 10 because it's not terrible, but it's not the best. There you go. That's my review. Love it. Don't love it. Buy it. Don't buy it. See you guys. Love ya. Bye.